Western Laboratories, possibly Columbia, but I guess that's probably where I would start if I were.
Why would she not look at Mesa?
Well, because Mesa is not a contract manufacturer. That's the big difference. And you're not going to get the best pricing from Mesa, in my view, only because they're basically a middleman between the client, the contract manufacturer, and their strength is probably packaging and being able to market a particular brand and or celebrity. So I don't think she would look at Mesa from that standpoint.
Okay.
Now, I mean,
but I guess what's the difference? What's the difference between them and Walmart, though? Like, why is Mesa compelling for a Walmart but not for a Whole Foods?
I think the difference is attaching yourself to a celebrity. You know, the retail challenge is the retailers right now are heavily challenged by specialty retailers, the Sephoras, obviously the Ultras, and I think the perception on the part of the Millennium generation and Generation Z is that a lot of these mass retailers, their base is basically an older clientele. So if you're a Walmart and you recognize the fact that your basic cosmetic lines are not appealing to that generation, you may want to take steps to see if you can attract a slightly younger generation. And maybe Drew Barrymore for them fits into that pattern. So that's the big difference. You know, who is your targeted customer base? Where is the business going? Where is the younger person shopping? You know, we know it's social media who is influencing Generation Z and to a certain extent the millennium customer. And those customers ain't shopping in Walmart for the most part. For cosmetic purchases, you know, maybe for other purchases. So those are the things that I think you as a retailer are challenged with right now. And, you know, how do you stop the bleeding, so to speak? So it's not, there isn't an easy answer to that.
Got it.
You know, you see Walgreens, I don't know whether you read anything recently, Claire. Walgreens is attempting to do a trial right now with Birchbox. You know, Birchbox for years, along with Ipsy, you know, has been leading the area as it relates to subscription services where people would get sample sizes of products. And then they could go to their website and order the full product. Now, Birchbox, of course, is looking more at full sizes. So Walgreens is testing right now in about 11 stores where they're offering smaller sizes of Birchbox in a dedicated area where that customer then can buy the product, check out at Walgreens, and then go online and buy the full size. But they're only talking about those specialty unique brands that are not available in Walgreens right now, that are only available either through social media or available through those independent specialty stores like Sephora and Ulta. So there are retailers trying to take some steps right now, maybe developing a concierge service 2 or 3 days a week. So you have a live person you can talk to. Target's done that to a certain extent. So has Walgreens has done that as well. So it's a very challenging business for retailers, you know, as to how they continue to attract that customer who's not shopping there that they desperately want to attract from going from going towards online purchases or the specialty retailers who carry those brands that are being touted by the beauty influencers.
Got it. Yeah, that's interesting. I haven't actually heard that. Very interesting. Okay, I think this was really helpful. I'm still trying to get my head around a little bit because like there's these chinks of the chain, right?
Yes.
And I think we're just we're trying to get our heads around which of the chinks are like truly value, and then B, have like a sustainable competitive advantage.
I think what you need to look at, Claire, as a representative of a private equity firm, is that the pickings are getting smaller and smaller as it relates to looking at those emerging brands and where you think there is a great upside potential. You're finding a lot of major brands now called acquirers that are basically coming in and scooping up a lot of these indie brands and adding them to their portfolio. So it's becoming, I would say 3 years ago, most M&As or private equity firms were able to get involved in some of these emerging brands, but I think that trend has shifted now greatly towards the major brands. So one area to look at maybe would be some of the contract manufacturers who are basically becoming more involved in working with these emerging brands who don't have an infrastructure and who need quick turnaround time. You know, you see something on social media as a consumer, you don't want to wait 6 months for you to try the product. You want it within a relatively short period of time. So that business, I think, will continue to gravitate towards those CMs who can have quick turnaround. You may also begin to see, as in the case of Avon, a lot of in-house brands, maybe from an economic standpoint, be turned over to CMs, and CMs are looking to broaden their horizon by partnering or buying packaging companies. So this way they can utilize full service and at the same time help improve their margins as well. So it's it's a little bit more difficult for M&M or M&A or private equity firms, but you know there's a lot of opportunities out there. You know, you just kind of have to do your homework and see where you think you might want to invest your capital in.
Yeah. I mean, I think like the business is kind of, I mean, obviously Intercost is incredibly successful and owned by another private equity firm. But this concept of being the middleman, being Mesa, I think to the extent, just as an example, to the extent you can be this value-add middleman and not have any of the manufacturing capabilities, it's a very asset-light business. It's just, and I think there's probably a few of these, like a lot in the business, in the industry. Like Hash Beauty is another one, right? And like Seed Beauty, like those are very interesting businesses because
you're absolutely right.
There's no CapEx.
That's true. Yeah, they're known as beauty incubators, and you know, and you see that with the firm also who owns Kylie Jenner, and the fact that they're going to become heavily involved in skincare called Fourth Ray as well. So yeah, beauty incubators, which are basically advisors, to be honest with you, to obviously understand the business, know how to market the brand, know how to approach different types of contract manufacturers. So you're right. I think as a middleman, there is a lot of value to be added there. I totally agree with you.
It's definitely not my firm's expertise to buy like big factories, right? Like we're brand investors. So I think we could get comfortable with the concept of investing in an incubator that invests in brands. But I guess my question for you would be, you know, for a Hash Beauty or a Mesa or a Seed, like how would you think about those as being kind of what are their sustainable competitive advantages? Because if it's just the ability to attract celebrities, that worries me. If it's that they actually do add a lot of value in the chain, and there turns out not to be value in going to a one-stop shop or going to someone that can manufacture all of it in-house. Like, I'm curious what you think about that.
You know, I'm going to give you the plus and minuses if I can. I think
please.
From a plus standpoint, everything that you alluded to is correct. A beauty incubator, you know, could work either with celebrities, as in the case of Mesa or Hatch Beauty, as you mentioned previously, or maybe makeup artist, if that should be the case as well, and bringing a line to market. And, you know, they have the internal expertise. A lot of management people have actually come from the industry. So, you know, you're not talking about neophytes who don't understand the business at all and how to create strategies and develop